So every day in MAGA land, I feel like it's a combination of IQ test plus a test of critical thinking skills. And let me show you guys what I mean. This is Nick. He's one of the right-wing influencer people, and he says, breaking. President Trump has just signed an executive order eliminating tariffs on beef, coffee, and tropical fruits. So I guess now we're cutting tariffs, and this is good, right? Or is it bad? Because before you told me everything was great about tariffs, but now we're cutting said things that were supposedly great. So what's going on? Then they say, this is an effort to bring down food prices in America as voters voice concerns about affordability. Keep focusing on affordability, 47. And I mentioned before IQ and critical thinking skills because remember before Trump was telling us that we're all getting rich from the tariffs. He was telling us that prices are going down and everything's awesome. But like, what's going on here? Like if you guys know this, right? He put tariffs, say like on coffee and things like that. And then your costs skyrocket because you got to pay higher taxes. And so now he's like, oh, well, I care about you. So I'm going to like take away these things that I put on said thing. It's bizarre, right? Because if you cared about affordability in the first place, you wouldn't throw all these tariffs on this stuff like, say, coffee, tropical fruits, etc. And then also you're admitting that I guess prices are high because now you're saying that we're doing this to bring prices down. It's total gaslighting. So let me give you an example. This is Karen Levitt just yesterday. And she was tweeting out something that Trump tweeted, right? Cost and inflation were far higher under Sleepy Joe, right? He's going to blame Biden, blah, blah, blah. Then he's going to go on and say, Thanksgiving costs are 25% lower this year. Wow, than last under Crooked Joe. We are the party of affordability. And when you look at the fact check on this thing, which is pretty funny because, you know, guys, you can have different opinions on stuff. I have no problem with that. You can have different opinion. But, you know, let's be honest about this kind of stuff. So, for example, you can actually compare the Thanksgiving meal this year at Walmart compared to last year. And we're not talking about apples to apples. Why? Because look at this. Missing context. The 2025 Walmart Thanksgiving meal contains 15 items, right? 1-5. While the 2024 meal contains 21 items. So Walmart took out items. And what else did they do? Additionally, most of the brand names items in 2024 meal were replaced with great value items. So they swapped out products. So you're getting more generic stuff. And they took out the brand name stuff and you're getting less products. I guess it costs less, but it's just not a great comparison. And then when you go around the country telling everyone that everything costs less, it's ridiculous, right? Or now we're celebrating, I guess, that we're cutting the tariffs that you put in place, and then he acts like he cares about you. That's what we're dealing with today. It's totally gaslighting. Rand Paul actually calls it out, which is kind of funny. He says, this means that tariffs were taxes all along. Wow. And guys, like this kind of stuff, just be honest about these things, right? If you want to put tariffs on, fine, you know, do your tariff thing, but don't lie about who pays it. This is a great map. I saw this today and I was like, for anyone who's got a MAGA family member or MAGA friend that are hard to convince on who pays the tariffs, which is not that hard to, you know, to see the reality, but some people don't see it still. Send them this map. It says, the countries that pay Trump's tariffs are colored blue on this map, right? Basically one country, you the USA, you the consumer are going to pay the tariffs. Then you got this, Trump's going to be floating the tariff rebate checks. Watch this.
Just on the rebate checks, sir, how soon could Americans see those checks? Will that be in time for Christmas, holiday shopping?
No, not for this year. It'll be next year sometime.
Do you have a time frame?
No, sometime during the year, next year. It's a lot of money, but we've taken in a lot of money from tariffs. The tariffs allow us to give a dividend if we want to do that. Now we're going to do a dividend, and we're also going to be reducing debt. We have, because of Biden and others, we have $37 trillion in debt. So we're going to be doing a dividend, which people will enjoy and spend and do what they want. But we're also going to be reducing debt very substantially.
But if the Supreme Court rules against you, sir, is there
well, then I'd have to do something else. We'll have to figure something else. That would be a very sad day for our country. We use just...
It'd be a very, very sad day for our country, right? So I guess the talk is now, if you're going to get some sort of rebate or dividend, whatever he wants to call this thing, it's not going to be before Christmas, okay? Maybe into next year. And then he was asked, well, you know, what if the Supreme Court strikes it down, which I think is a very high possibility of that. And then he starts talking about we're going to pay off the debt, the national debt. The thing was so strange about any of these discussions. I'm always on the fence in this one. I'd like to get your thoughts. Does Trump really believe the nonsense that he throws out there every day? Does he actually believe it, or is he just like, I'm totally just gonna lie to people because no one calls me on it? I'm going on the sort of the side of like his advisors, his worm tongues put stuff in front of him. He doesn't really understand anything anyway, and he just repeats what he said. So he saw the whole Walmart thing, but all he knows is the talking point on that. Whether or not he actually really believes it, I'm going to go with more the dementia yes answer, because if you're surrounding yourself with yes people and people just tell you that kind of stuff, and if you never go to a grocery store yourself, maybe he actually believes the stuff that he says. The whole thing is crazy to me, but it also shows that he's not actually that concerned about the truth, honestly, because any reasonable person could figure this stuff out. And if you just actually talk to real people, you'd figure it out also. But I think he's in this crazy bubble to where he doesn't talk to people, he just talks to yes people. This is something too, which is interesting. Gavin Newsom's office was tweeting this out that I guess if you want to change all of the Department of Defense to Department of War, all the signage and things like that, it'll cost up to $2 billion. And this is important to talk about this stuff because if they are indeed concerned about affordability for Americans, like you should also streamline your own practices. Remember the whole Doge thing with Elon Musk was all about cutting wasteful spending in the government. That was the basic idea. But like, how do you take this, that or change the name of something, right? That's going to cost a whole bunch just to do that, because you got to change all the plaques everywhere and change business cards and blah, 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 right? You got to change all that stuff. Or something like this. And this is things that, if the Trump people were transparent, we would actually know these kind of numbers. This is an interesting one. This is from Tammy Duckworth, and she says, a monstrous illegal waste of taxpayer dollars, okay? Donald Trump must confirm if this estimate is true and disclose the full total he's burned through with his unlawful military deployment in our cities. The American people deserve to know. And I guess Intercept here came up with the estimate that maybe Trump's military occupation of U.S. cities cost $473 million and rising, right? Do I know what the number is? No, I don't know. This is a report here on that. And these are the kind of things to where if we want to improve things in the country, like have honest discussions about this stuff. What is the number, right? We can argue about whether or not, they should do said things, but like something like this, if you're a transparent government, you would just tell us what the number is. We could be able to see it. But the Trump people, they like hide as many things as they possibly can. That's when they know that there's shady stuff going on. And then the stuff that we do know that they're doing, I'll just say this, it feels like you're just getting drunk late at night, coming up with stuff. For example, this is Pete Hegseth, okay? On Fox News, they're talking about Southern Spear, and they put laser beam eyes, and he's holding a spear. And I was looking at the names of the way that they do their military operations. Let me read the names of the stuff. You got the Operation Rough Rider, okay, you got Operation Midnight Hammer, and you got Operation Southern Spear. And the first thing that I thought of was like, are you guys just like staying up late at night watching adult content, drinking beer, and like, yeah, I'm going to name it Rough Rider. Oh, yeah, I saw that movie Rough Rider. Oh, I saw Midnight Hammer. Doesn't it sound like that? There's no other explanation. Like these names are so stupid. I'm telling you guys, I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing. But that's who these people are. I feel like they make all the decisions late at night, hanging out in the office or drinking beer, watching whatever content they're watching, and coming up with these kind of names. Isn't this a clown show nonstop? And then you get the more serious parts of the clown show. And I just got to be frank with you guys. It's hard to make jokes about this. I guess they're going to be sending the ICE and people to Charlotte, North Carolina. That's their next target, I suppose. This is one of the right-wing influencer people. He says, get ready. It has now been confirmed that the Border Patrol is going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina as soon as Saturday, every last, right? And then they play a bunch of video and footage, if you want to watch it, you can, of celebrating militarism in the USA. It's frankly sick. And we have this crazy divide happening in MAGA. While, they're changing their tariff policy, it seems. I guess now we're cutting a bunch of tariffs and stuff like that. Now we're also fighting each other. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's a tweet out just a few minutes ago. And this has been a circus. Here's what she says. She says, this and the Epstein files is why I'm being attacked by President Trump, because there's a fight now. it really makes you wonder what is in those files and who and what country is putting so much pressure on him. Wow. I forgive him and I will pray for him to return to his original MAGA promises, whatever that means. And we're talking about, who we're accepting money from. So she claims she doesn't get any money from AIPAC. That's what it says right there. And Laura Loomer then is taking a different route. So you're having a division in MAGA here. This is Evan Kilgore, some sort of right-wing person. I don't know who that is, to be honest. But he says, I stand with Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Who else? And then Laura Loomer says, no, I stand with President Trump. MTG wants to make everything about herself. She wants revenge on Trump because he refused to endorse her Senate campaign. And so now she wants to destroy him with lies. And the reason why I showed you, the whole Nick thing and the tariff fiasco, and now we're cutting tariffs, I guess we're celebrating that, is these kind of people. And this is where it's like, it's so cartoonish. You have like two different sets of liars now, right, over in MAGA land, and they're splinting, and now they're going to start telling lies over on each other. And it's really hard to navigate what the truth is on this stuff. And that will be like a really ugly state to when they start spreading lies about each other. And I don't know what's going to happen after that. We're going to find out. I mean, it's sick, it's sad, it's comical, all in the same time. And I always say, I don't know if I should laugh or cry every day, but I try my best. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on any one of these things. Please be safe, and I'll catch you on the next video.